Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Dwayne Nelson. In the news, it's being called an East Coast earthquake. The 5.9 magnitude shocker was felt for several hundred miles. The epicenter was near Mineral, Virginia, between Charlottesville and Richmond, but folks in northeast Tennessee and southwest Virginia felt the rumblings as well. An official with the U.S. Geological Service says earthquakes on the East Coast don't happen often.
The 6 could happen anywhere in the United States from built-up stresses. So they're much rarer, but they do happen.
The quake was only about a half mile deep. Dr. Chris Gregg, Associate Professor of Geology at East Tennessee State University, says that's why it was felt over such a large area.
Well, that's a very shallow earthquake. What that translates it into for people at the surface and buildings is that the closer the earthquake starts to the surface, the more energy from the earthquake can be applied to shaking the ground.
The last time an earthquake hit the East Coast was in 1886. 2 illegal immigrants involved in a multi-state prostitution ring have admitted to the federal charges. Eusebio Martinez pled guilty in U.S. District Court in Greenville. Meanwhile, Raimundo Sanchez Torres pled guilty to conspiring to harbor illegal aliens. The two face up to 10 years in prison. Scott County, Virginia Democrats have selected candidates for the upcoming general election. District 5 Supervisor Randall Kincaid was beaten out by challenger Michael Kincaid in the only contested race. Mitzi Owens will be the party's nominee for county treasury. Sheriff John Puckett will run for a second term as sheriff. However, Democrats chose not to select a candidate to run for the District 4 seat, which is occupied by Republican Supervisor Joe Herron. The election will be held in November, by the way. Kingsport man's in trouble with the law for allegedly taking money from his employer. Timothy Williams charged with embezzlement for allegedly stealing nearly $3,500 from Truck Pro on Eaststone Drive. American college testing scores in Hawkins County in 2011 dropped slightly in every subject from the previous year. 489 county students took the ACT test and had an overall average score of 18.1, which was a decrease from last year's overall average of 18.6. Bristol police say 2 uninvited guests decided to take up temporary residence inside a city funeral home. Workers at Weaver's Funeral Home discovered the men asleep in caskets. Barrett Hartsock, along with another intruder, jumped out a window when they were discovered. This is Bristol Police Detective Bobby Bedwell.
Both subjects were probably homeless and forced entry into the residence. I think not knowing that that was a storage facility for the funeral home, they thought it was probably a vacant residence, and once they got in there, they just decided to stay.
Hartsock was caught, arrested for burglary and vandalism over $1,000. Meanwhile, the other suspect, who managed to escape, described as a white male, may go by the name of Sparks or Sparky. Authorities said the two did more than $9,000 in damage to the caskets. I'm Dwayne Nelson. Hope you have a great Wednesday.